Good evening out there in football land, and welcome to another edition of All Things Football from a lady's perspective. I'm your host, Sonia Anderson, with this special Pro Bowl weekend. If you have not already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you can get updates in all things football on a regular basis. Now, we are going into the off season after next week, but this channel will continuously be updated every week with everything from faith, fitness, fashion, and football. So, gents, if you're tuning in, please share this channel with that special lady in your life. We got a lot to cover on this special Pro Bowl weekend, January 27, 2018. So, let's get started with a little news. First things first, out of Chicago. The Duerson Act, named after Dave Duerson, who is the former linebacker for Chicago, who committed suicide at the age of 50 by shooting himself in the chest so that his brain could be donated to science to examine the effects of CTE. They have passed the Duerson Act in Chicago banning preteen tackling football. Now, Pop Warner does not support this, and several of the other former Chicago Bears do not support this, but parents of teens who participate in football in schools are supporting it because it's supposedly been found that CTE can develop even in youth. So we'll follow up on that and see how that goes. Next things next, Colin Kaepernick has been nominated for the Byron Whizzer White Award. He's a finalist. He and J.J. Watt from the Texans are finalists, as well as Andy Dalton from the Bengals, Chris Long of the Eagles, and Von Miller of the Broncos. Now, this award is awarded to those players who demonstrate community service not only in the teams that their cities are housed in, but also in their hometowns as well. The recipient will receive $100,000 award that they can donate to a charity of their choice, and the reward will be revealed on February 1st. Now, a little bit of other NFL news with some coaching changes. Some coaching positions have yet to be filled, as in the Colts and the Lions, but Arizona has already filled their position with former defensive coordinator from the Carolina Panthers. As well, San Diego former's head coach Mike McCoy is now the offensive coordinator for Arizona. The Panthers' former defensive coordinator Steve Wilks is now the head coach in Arizona, and the Panthers linebacker coordinator, who is friends with Steve Wilks, Al Holcombs, also followed Mr. Wilks to Arizona to become the defensive coordinator. So Arizona has a complete coaching change, and we'll stay tuned to see if that's very beneficial to them in the next season. Now, Holcomb oversaw linebackers in Carolina, and this season, the Panthers were the only team in the NFL to limit a rusher to 100 yards or less. So he has a great record, and he's going to be doing great things. And these guys got there real quick considering Arians announced his retirement not too long ago. Now, what's really funny, a lot of action going down in the Pro Bowl. Sean Payton photobombed one of the Panthers players' pictures with Thomas Davis, Graham Gano, and our number 70. Yes, Sean, you're doing a lot down there and you're doing the most. But enjoy. Pro Bowl is all about fun, apparently, and not injury. So basically, a lot of the players are saying they want to ball out, but some players are like, no, we're here for fun. We've already balled out during the season, and we don't need to get an injury that's going to bar us being well in the next season. As in Alvin Kamara, who said he's just going to follow the lead of Antonio Brown. And other than that, he's not doing much. Now, Mark Ingram has been Disney World in it all week, riding all these roller coasters every day. Antonio Brown, as well as some other players, brought their kids along and just made it a good family fun so they could see them practicing all week long. Now, I told you guys a few weeks ago about Cam Newton's concussion in that New Orleans Saints matchup where he was removed from the game for one play but returned after Derek Anderson threw it incomplete. The NFL was investigating the Panthers for how they handled the concussion protocol, but Wednesday they released a statement, the NFL did, I'm seeing, and they stated that the Panthers did not mishandle Cam, and in fact it was not a concussion but a knee injury. Now, Cam had an MRI on January 8th that revealed he had some swelling and some misaligned ligaments and some damage in his knee, but he will not need surgery. So apparently that's why he stumbled to the left sideline and took a knee, as well as he had a injury to his eye. Now the Pro Bowl is set for tomorrow at 3 p.m. and the NFC is picked to be favorites in this matchup. Todd Gurley and Drew Brees will be going against Le'Veon Bell and Phillip Rivers in the AFC, so it should be quite a matchup. Now, out of Gretna, Louisiana, let me update you guys on a really sad story. Former NFL player Joe McKnight, you remember he was gunned down in 2016 by Ronald Gasser in Gretna, Louisiana, which is a suburb of New Orleans. Well, on Friday evening, yesterday, the jury came back with a conviction of second-degree manslaughter against 56-year-old Ronald Gasser. Now, that penalty does carry a life sentence, and everyone seems happy with the verdict because if he had gotten a lesser offense, he would have been facing 0 to 40 years. So it could have been a chance that he may not have walked. The family of Joe McKnight are happy, as well as prosecutors, and they feel that justice was served. We'll continue to keep Joe McKnight's family in prayers. Now, congratulations are in order to tight end Tony Gonzalez, who played with the Kansas City Chiefs for a great part of his 17-year career in the NFL and finished up his few years with the Atlanta Falcons. Tony has been nominated by the Kansas City Chiefs to go into their Hall of Fame. Now, that will have his name added to the Arrowhead Stadium Ring of Honors beginning next season. Congratulations to you, Tony. You so deserve it. Now, in other news, the 49ers are re-signing Mark Nachoa to a one-year deal. Now, we'll see how that works out and why that's beneficial. Now, let's get into a little Pro Bowl news. I've got notes galore here. The Pro Bowl preview stems. There are 30 new players that have never had a Pro Bowl appearance, and they're excited and just wanting to get down here in beautiful Florida and enjoy the weather, enjoy Disney World, and have some fun playing some football. Now, this is the NFL's second year that they are using that location, and they have a 3-year term that they've agreed to play in that area. As a matter of fact, Mark Ingram, I told you earlier, is riding all these roller coasters. And with these participants, the Steelers have the most players in the Pro Bowl. Now, Mark Ingram is of the Saints, and he also spoke about how tough it was to go to the Pro Bowl considering the loss they just came off of. It was basically stated that the more recent your loss and how shocking they lost to the Vikings, the more it stings. So the Pro Bowl becomes a field of heartbreak where players basically share their stories of elimination from the Super Bowl chase. Now, that game will be played in Camping World Stadium in Orlando tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You can check your local listings for air times. And in Super Bowl news, real briefly, because we'll cover an extensive Super Bowl preview next week before the Super Bowl begins. Gronkowski returned to practice today out of concussion protocol. He had a light practice, but he's practicing. And Tom Brady is throwing limited, but without his glove. Some Pro Bowl standouts I wanted to go over with you all before we close this show out. The AFC's offense is going to have features of Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Keenan Allen, Jarvis Landry, and T.Y. Hilton. Travis Kelce is going to be in there, standing in for Gronkowski and Delaney Walker. Now, quarterbacks was going to feature Tom Brady. You know he's not going to be there. He's going to be resting. Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Derek Carr is going to be filling in for Brady, and Alex Smith is going to stand in for Phillip Rivers. Now, they also are going to be enjoying the likes of Le'Veon Bell, Kareem Hunt, and LaShawn McCoy. Now, the defense of the AFC is going to have highlights of Joey Bosa, Calais Campbell, Geno Atkins, Von Miller, Jadeveon Clowney, Telvin Smith, AJ Bouye, and the punter is going to be Brett Kern, kicker Chris Boswell, and return specialist is Tyreek Hill. Now, the NFC offense is going to feature the likes of Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, Michael Thomas, Larry Fitzgerald, Devontae Adams, Trent Williams, Andrew Whitworth, Brandon Brooks, TJ Lang, and Alex Mack. Zach Ertz, Jason Witten will be replacing him. Now, the quarterbacks are going to feature Carson Wentz. Just kidding, he's out. Filling in for him is going to be Jared Goff, as well as Russell Wilson and Drew Brees. Now, the punter for the NFC team is going to be Johnny Helker. The kicker is Graham Gano. And Gano is going to be replacing Greg Swirling. Also, we're going to be enjoying the likes of Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram. Now, the defense, we're going to have Cameron Jordan, Michael Bennett, Fletcher Cox, Gerald McCoy, Earl Thomas, Mike Daniels, Linval Joseph, Anthony Barr, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly is being replaced by Deion Jones because Luke became injured, Xavier Rhodes, Marshawn Lattimore. And return specialist is Pharaoh Cooper, and Buda Baker is going to be on special teams. It's going to be such a great matchup. And it's going to be great to see the NFC go versus the AFC. Me personally, I think that the NFC is going to win. We have some very, very strong persons. And I'm hoping that the NFC also will win the Super Bowl because we have not won it in quite a while. So it'd be great to see that as well. But I'll get into all of that the next show. Please feel free to go to our website, www.thecarolinapantherets.com, for all links to follow us on all social media outlets. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of All Things Football from a lady's perspective. I'm Sonia Anderson. Have a great night.